Are you looking to play Vengeance Demon Hunter in patch 10.2 of Dragonflight? Like Havoc, Vengeance has received a bit of a rework coming into this patch. So in today's video, I'm going to go over everything that's changed and talk about the changes and if maybe you want to play Vengeance Demon Hunter. I did one of these for Havoc, so check that out. Before we get into it, make sure you like the video, comment, and subscribe. I will have more Vengeance content, albeit less than Havoc, but more Demon Hunter content and WoW content throughout 10.2. So that out of the way, let's take a look at live and talk about the current issues that Vengeance Demon Hunter is facing. Here we are on live. Now, when I think about Vengeance Demon Hunter issues, I think about a few things. Mainly, the biggest one is just going to be the ramp up time in Mythic Plus and kind of their defensiveness, right? So what I mean by that is that Vengeance as a tank is built around having gaps in their defensiveness. Most of your actual defensive stuff is through calcified spikes or through meta form. And whenever you don't have that up, you definitely can feel very squishy, right? That's just how the class is designed. They don't have the ability to have constant mitigation up, stuff like Bear Druid does, stuff like Prop Paladin does. So their rotation is built around mitigating the downtime between those gaps. And there's ways through that. They have stuff like Fiery Brand. They have the frailty system to get around that. So it's not like all doom and gloom, but it's certainly a weird thing when they have such large gaps in their defensive uptime because of things like demon spikes, things like demonic, stuff like that. Because of this as well, they have a weird thing where they don't really have any true defensive cooldowns outside of meta and outside of Fiery Brand. And again, Fiery Brand is only on one target. Yes, it can spread, but it has ramp up time, which again, I'll get to. So without these real defensive cooldowns, a lot of them are just kind of half damage, half defensiveness, where they generate more souls to heal themselves more or just deal damage to leech, or they just kind of stack up a bunch of damage reduction stack through frailty, or they just have really high HP pools to mitigate stuff. They have demonic as like a miniature cooldown. So a lot of Vengeance stuff is less active mitigation, although you do have that active stuff, and more so just passively being really tanky and using that towards other things. So now again, they do have they have the ability to use Fiery Brand as a bit of a mitigation tool against singular targets, the ability to use Fell Devastation, which gives them Demon Form because of demonic, and Demon Form is very, very strong for Vengeance. You can see here you get 50% increased maximum health, 200% increased armor, and you get more fury and more souls from your shear and whatever fracture, I guess is what you take. So that there is pretty good defensive, but outside of that, not a ton of stuff. A lot of it's just passive stuff, or you have to use your active mitigation. Another big issue, again, like I said, is ramp up time. Now in raids, this doesn't really matter too much. But in Mythic Plus, they have a lot of ramp up time when you go into a pack. To get fully set up on defensiveness, you need to build your souls, you need to throw out your Fiery Brand and have that spread using Burning Alive, which, it takes 2 seconds to spread. Currently, there is a cap on how often it can spread. I mean, obviously every 2 seconds. How far it can spread, so there's a cap on how many targets you get. And there's also a talent that can extend this, because again, it's a very, very powerful defensiveness, 40% DR, which is a lot. But you also have Charred Flesh, which increases that, but this has this weird thing where it's it's not actually uncapped increasiveness. Whenever you cast Fiery Brand, it puts a 9-second invisible buff where you can extend it, yada yada yada. There's a lot of weird things going on with how much ramp up time they have, and obviously it can be mitigated by carrying souls from the previous pack into the first pack to generate threat, and just set yourself up with frailty and stuff like that. But if you're not doing that, you just kind of have to build up souls as soon as you get in there. You're probably going to lose some threat because you're just not doing a lot of damage because you don't have the souls built up for Spirit Bomb. Fiery Brand is going to take 10-20 seconds to spread all the targets. So a lot of ramp up time there, but they are very powerful. They have a lot of mob control. Sigil of Silence is a very powerful thing. Sigil of Misery would be good if they could take it. Obviously they can't. Chaos Nova is very strong. Chains exists as well, which obviously they can't take it, but it's very good. So they do have really good mob control. Specifically, just Sigil of Silence is crazy. And finally, though, the last big issue is just this right side of the tree. It's really, really weak. Specifically, all these talents here are very, very poor. This is very undertuned. This is very undertuned. These are both very bad. Soul Barrier is just, you'd never take this. It's not good. You'd never take Bulk Extraction. It's just bad. Sigil Change is great, but it's hidden away, locked behind all these talents. Revel in Pain is fine, but it only works on your primary target, so you wouldn't really take it in Mythic Plus, which is kind of the right side of the tree. This just gives you more radius, so why would you ever take this? Cycle Binding's fine, actually, there's no issues there. So all in all, definitely some issues with it, but they did receive some things in 10.2 which are making a lot of those things better. So let's hop on over into the PTR. So here we are in 10.2, and we can see the tree looks pretty different, honestly, but still the same, which I think is good. Vengeance did have problems. There were two I didn't touch on, I forgot. One was their Lance and their tier set. The old one was very powerful, basically giving you a ton of fiery brand. I can look at it here. Full fragments just heal you for more and then increase your fiery damage. And then the 4-piece made your generator do fire damage and then also put fiery brand on the target, which was really, really powerful. Obviously, it's been nerfed because it's, we're on 10.2 now, but it was really, really good. And when that was gone, there would have been some problems for Vengeance's damage. So pardon my bags, it's PTR. But we look here on 10.2 and we can see a few things. So on the left side here, completely reworked. You can grab a lot more utility now. You get Sigil of Misery baseline, which is great for mob control. You can grab this new talent called Live by the Glaive. Whenever you parry, you restore 4% max HP and 10 Fury, which is great because you're going to be parrying a lot in 10.2. You get a 40-yard glaive toss. You can actually take stuff like Chaos Nova and the Sigils if you wanted to. You can get Darkness. You can actually take Elysian Decree now. You get a 2-minute meta with Rush of Chaos. So if we look at my meta, 2-minute cooldown, which is really, really strong. So a lot of good stuff coming from the class tree here. Obviously, not going to talk about the class tree for too long because I think it's not very important, especially in this scenario. But great changes here. Fodder is gone, which I think a lot of people are pretty happy for. I don't think Vengeance hated it as much as Havoc did, but I'm sure people were still annoyed by it. And it's just fun to have Elysian Decree again. But looking on the right side, we actually see a lot of changes. So first things first, we can walk down through the talent tree here. And this is one of the builds. This is the Sigil Weaver build. I did a video on Friday talking about Vengeance builds if you want to go check that out. But we can see here that a lot of things have changed around. So looking on the right side, we see right away that we have a new talent here. And this is Ascending Flame. This increases Sigil Flame's initial damage by 50%. And it actually allows you to overlap multiple applications of the dot. So what this does is that it just gives you some free damage and lets you use 2 Sigil Flames at once. You're probably wondering, how can I use 2? Well, there's 2 ways for that. The first one's through the tier set. 2-piece is like fine. Remember, you attack a target afflicted by Sigil Flame, you get 2% damage, healing, and stamina for 8 seconds up to 5 times. Very easy to stack this up. And then the other one is that your periodic damage has a chance to flare up, giving you just additional souls and some damage. And you also get 1 second off Sigil Flame whenever you spend 40 Fury. So that gives you some CDR. Finally is another new talent down here, Illuminate Sigils, which gives you 2 charges of every Sigil skill and a 20% increased parry chance from enemies that have Sigil Flame on them. This is very powerful. So, this kind of works with that. You get a lot of Sigil stuff. There's other cool talents here too. Chains of Anger is actually worthwhile to take now because it gives you 2 seconds extra duration on your Sigils. So this is like an 8-second silence. You can get a 22-second misery thing, which is like whatever. Sigil of Flame lasts a while. Sigil of Chains can slow for a long time. You get a lot of stuff there that's really, really good. Sigil of Chains can actually be taken now. It's moved into a really accessible spot. Relevant Pain was moved out of the way, so we don't have to take it. Fell Flame Fortification was buffed, so you can have some magic damage reduction. All these nodes here were buffed as well. Now, they're still bad. You're probably not going to take them, but they were buffed, which is great. A lot of 2-point nodes are removed. And overall, it's just a much better talent tree. We also have a lot more connectiveness down here. You can take Feed the Demon by avoiding Stoke the Flames if you want. There's just a lot more connectivity in the tree. You have a lot more options, and it's really, really, really good. And this new talent is kind of crazy, which is just great. Another thing that changed actually is Fell Devastation now has a 40-second cooldown down from a minute. With Dark Glare Boon moving and giving you 20 to 40% of its cooldown, you have roughly a 28-second Fell Devastation. So I go into this pack here, we just generate some Fury for ourselves here, and we just use Fell Dev, push it, we can see whenever it's done. It's now 27 seconds, we refunded the Fury. So that means that in 20 more seconds, I can get 5 more seconds demonic, 6 more seconds of demonic, which is a great thing. Couple that with the 2-minute metamorphosis, you actually have a lot less gaps in your mitigation now because you have a lot more instances of being able to be in demonic. And when you're in demonic, you don't really need all these spikes things, which is great. On top of that, with the haste we're going to have, you can just have really high uptime of demon spikes with Feed the Demon with 1 point. So because of stat scaling and all those other things, Vengeance is looking really, really good in terms of just, the defensiveness they have there, which is really good. Now, there's another thing that was, I say not buffed, but made much better, and that is their ramp up time. It's still long. They're still going to have some. There's not a lot you can do about that because, you know, just how it is. But you can always sigil as you go into a pack, which means you just get the parry chance. But now, if you look here, every 1 second Firebrand spreads to one nearby enemy, which means that this spreads twice as fast. So if we Firebrand this target, see here, it's going to spread right now. On top of that, we can actually infinitely extend these with Immolation Aura now. So I'm just going to sit here with Immolation Aura ticking. And we should be able to get, we're not going to get like a full extension because I Immolation Aura'd late. But these ones here should be able to go really, really high. So we're going to push it again, and we should get a little bit more extension here. We actually were able to fit 2 Immolation Auras into some of these fiery brands, which is really, really good. Those will continue to spread against multiple targets. So your ramp up time is a lot less. With the sigils, you actually have, you know, a lot of ability to get that parry out quickly too. That's really improved. But I do think the biggest thing for Vengeance is just this talent here and the ability that you have to just do mob control. If we drop a point somewhere, probably like this, and just grab Sigil of Chains, obviously I'm not going to fight like actual mobs, so, you know, you'll have to just take a peek here. But we now have 2 of every sigil. So I can Sigil of Flame. Where's my Sigil of Flame? I can Sigil of Flame. Then I can pop down a, you know, Elysian Decree. I can Silence Sigil. I can Sigil of Misery. Then I can Sigil of Chains to pull things. I can pop down another Elysian Decree, Sigil of Flames, Silent Sigil, Sigil of Misery. So you have so much control over the mobs now. You have 2 charges of a 1 minute, 8 second silence. That's like uncapped, which is crazy. 2 charges of a Misery, 2 charges of a Grip, and then just 2 charges of really high damaging abilities, plus a stun, plus imprison. Vengeance's mob control is out of this world. And on top of that, because of Cycle of Binding, you actually will get CDR on your sigils whenever you use them rotationally, which you're going to be doing because your sigils, Sigil of Flame, is part of your tier set, Elysian Decree is part of your damage rotation. So you have a lot of sigils now, and they're a big part of your rotation, which is one of the wanted things from the rework. So overall, I think the rework has been really good. That's not to say there's no issues. Like I said, ramp up time is still there. These right talent sides are still pretty bad. There's one other issue I forgot to touch on, and that's Soul Cleave is still capped at 5 targets. Open up my spell book here. We go to Soul Cleave, 5 enemies. Not great. Still being capped there is never where you want to be, but it's not the end of the world. But yeah, I mean, Vengeance is like great. The damage is there. So beforehand, we were reliant on the tier set. Tier set's going away, but they buffed damage by a pretty sizable amount to make up for it, as well as all the new talents. You're really tanky. You're still all the fun stuff that Vengeance was before, but you have more meta, more demon spikes. You parry from the sigils. You have a ton of just different mob control options. Vengeance is looking really, really, really fun and really, really, really powerful. So if you want to do Demon Hunter tanking, then I would recommend trying Vengeance out. I will have a Vengeance guide later, probably once the season starts, but Vengeance is looking amazing. It's looking really, really fun, and I think this is going to be one of the better tiers for Vengeance Demon Hunter in recent memory. So that is going to be it for the video today. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know down below what you think of Vengeance, how you think it's looking. I didn't do any rotations or anything here, just kind of a talky video. But let me know what your thoughts on Vengeance are, if you're excited for it. Are you sad that some of the issues are still here? Obviously, you know, they still have the dual resource system with Souls and Fury, which is a little clunky. They still have ramp up time. They still have 5 hard cap on Soul Cleave. And the right side of the tree is still kind of bad. But I think overall, it's like really, really much improved. And I think it's going to be a really, really fun time for people trying out Vengeance or Vengeance tanking. And I think you're going to really love it. I've done a little bit of Vengeance tanking on PTR, and I liked it. But again, you know, end of the video here. Let me know your thoughts down below. Like the video, subscribe, all the cool stuff. Follow my Twitch, join the Discord. Links in the description. Become a channel member if you want to. I will have some Vengeance content. Obviously, I'm still more so a Havoc channel, but I will also cover Vengeance every so often. So keep an eye out for the the Vengeance video guide. My apologies there. And yeah, so I think this is like the middle of the week, Wednesday or Thursday, I put this video out. Hope you guys' day went well. Enjoy the rest of your week. Patch 10.2 launches the next week, which is exciting. And Demon Hunter in general is looking great. So thanks for watching. Have a good one. Peace. A big thank you to all my channel members. Thank you to Andrew Kino, Payne, Latand, Period, Brad Wisniak, Zuligan, Oxclamation, It's Bulk, and Howley. Thank you all of those people. You guys are great and appreciate the support you're giving me. If you want to support the channel and get a few cool perks in the meantime, click the link in the description. Brings you to a place where you can learn more about becoming a channel member. Thank you all so much. Thank you for watching the video, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.